think we are running on time for schedule, and to move to the very last presentation before the dinner time, or my dinner times, and maybe lunchtime for others in other part of the world. But perhaps after the last presentation, we can still allow a few moments for people to ask questions, not only addressing to the last presentation, but the last few presentations. So the last presentation will be by Kermen Batyreva and Svetlana Batyreva from Kalmyk State University. The topic will be wood and the cult of tree in the nomadic space of Kalmyks. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm going to show the presentation which was prepared by me and Dr. Svetlana Batyreva. And the topic of my presentation is wood and the cult of tree in the nomadic space of Kalmyks. So let's start. Wood was widely used in the household of nomads who left Western Mongolia and settled in the steppes of the northern Caspian. The tradition determined the use of wood among Russian Kalmyks, who imported wood from the Volga region and the North Caucasus under the conditions of the steppe treelessness. Structural details of the frame of the nomadic dwelling kibitka, furniture, dishes, household items, musical instruments were made of wood. Different types of wood were used to create household utensils, but most often a maple, a walnut, a poplar. A small-sized utensils of livestock farming were made by carving, turning, and chiseling wood. The items were decorated with carved decor. Thus, wooden ladles tzatzil of various sizes and shapes with 9 holes were used in the ritual sphere of life. Nomads performed sacrificial drink offerings with dairy products during the childbearing, wedding, and funeral rites of Kalmyk's life cycle. The decorative design combined images of animals on the handle framed by patterned ornaments of happiness and different kinds of meander, which personifies perpetual motion. Such items are on the permanent display of the Museum of Traditional Culture, named after the Pandita of the Kalmyk Scientific Center of the Russian Academy of Sciences. And also you can see the exhibits of the Russian Ethnographic Museum in St. Petersburg. People's respect for trees and wood has ancient origins in the culture of Kalmyk people. Far beyond the borders of the steppe, the lonely poplar from Kalmykia is known, which won the 3rd place in the international competition European Tree of the Year 2020, in which unique old trees from 16 European countries took part. The poplar growing near the village Harbuluk, Seliny district of the Republic of Kalmykia, represented the Russian Federation in the competition. Before that, it became the winner of the Russian Tree of the Year national competition. In an online poll held in February last year, the lonely poplar won 27,411 votes in the European Tree of the Year 2020 competition. According to the legend, the giant poplar was planted by a Buddhist monk named Bagdahna Hurlin Purdash Lama in 1846. He brought poplar seeds from his pilgrimage to Tibet. Purdash Lama placed poplar seeds inside his walking stick, which he buried at the highest point of the local hill. Soon, a poplar sprout appeared at this place near the village of Harbuluk. There was a whole poplar grove, but over time all the trees died and only one remained, and so it is called the lonely poplar. For more than 150 years, the tree has grown into a real giant. Today, its height is 22 meters and the diameter is about 1.5 meters. And it is included in the National Register of Old Growing Trees of Russia, number 390. The tree is not only a natural monument, but also a sacred object for worship of Buddhist believers from different parts of Russia, and even foreign countries come here to pray. There is Buddhist sanctuary of stupas on white stone pedestals near the poplar. And at the foot of the poplar, there are healing springs that gave the name to the village of Harbuluk, pure water springs. It means their water is unique and useful for humans because it contains some healing elements. Pilgrims come to touch the tree, recharge with its energy, ask for the fulfillment of desires, and also drink healing water. The ancient origins of tree worship are associated with the cosmogony of Kalmyks, which represent the original principle of the world. The structure of the human universe is formed by the all-embracing foundations of being, earth and heaven, connected by a lonely poplar standing in the middle of a vast steppe space and inspired by the sun. The life-giving sun is symbolized in a red brush on the headdress of Kalmyks, the ethnonym Ulan Zalata Halimgut, children of the sun. The symbolism of figurative thinking is carried by the ancestral hearth and an analog of the sun in the living space of nomads. In the exhibition model of the traditional Kalmyk universe, this is emphasized by the vertical axis of the symbolic tree rising from the hearth on the ground through a round chimney to the eternal blue sky of Mongolian peoples. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. Okay, if you have some question, I'll try to answer your question.
Thank you. Excellent presentation, and I am now I'm very curious as in cultural Mongolian culture that some of the image that we can see that tree grown not in the woods but on the vast land, and that all of a sudden the tree itself become very, very sacred already, right? So in that condition, then the choice of wood to I wonder for religious, sacred, ideological reason that the choice of using wood for particular product, and it must be very valuable materials to use, right? So the very selected use of that should be very important. Just something come to my mind immediately, and how is that compared to other materials in terms of its say you have stupa, Buddhist stupa, and that is stone, and so what role that wood would play in that sacred kind of this in that cultural context? Is that a very broad and general questions, I guess?
Okay, the material, the wood was popular in household of nomad people, but in the cult, but in the religious tradition, it was not so very widely used. So
Yeah.
And you can see on the slides that in the nomadic bank, they used only their wooden items, wooden utensils, and and in some ritual objects.
I see. Okay, thank you. Maybe we'll like to welcome questions from audiences, other attendants for this particular presentation or the presentation, the previous presentations. Maybe we can just allow whoever like to take part, just unmute yourself and speak directly for question or discussions. If not, then I would I thank very much for all the presenters this evening, and we look forward to the continuous discussion. Thank you very much.